and welcome back to another Sims 3 speed build. We are again in my custom world, Stone Ridge Valley, and we are putting in one of the community lots. It is the criminal hideout. It is going to be called the Abandoned Mine Shack. So I went ahead and of course it is a rabbit hole that I am trying to put into the ground here. I also kind of wedged it up into the mountain a little bit to kind of make it look like it was built into the mountain behind. Again, to make it look a little bit more like it was, I don't know, maybe an entrance to the mine, or maybe it's just the shack that's nearby and the entrance to the mine maybe somewhere else. As you can see, I do have the rock formations off to the right there to kind of symbolize a little bit of, you know, maybe going into the mountain to harvest gems and other rocks and stones out of there. I'm also going to go ahead and make this one a subway station, kind of like what I've done with all the other ones. I realized that there wasn't a subway station on this side of the world and thought probably should put something over here. Just to try to help get, you know, the Sims to the locations a little faster, especially since this is a career for the Sims to have. That will make it a little bit easier. And just in case your Sims don't have a horse or a bike or anything like that, they can get here hopefully a little bit quicker and hopefully not late to work. I have been doing quite a bit of testing in this world. One thing I am noticing is even though I have mods and stuff to prevent all cars, I am noticing that the Sims are doing a lot of walking. Even in the countryside, they're doing a lot of walking. So don't be surprised if you see a whole bunch of them just walking around from one location to the other. So I wouldn't be surprised if even your Sims, if they need to go to work, that they may or may not use the subway stations. A little bit of my testing, I have seen that they do go into the subway station if they're close enough to it. But yeah, everything seems to be working so far from what I can see pretty well. I do fiddle quite a bit with this subway station here to try to get it to work. I do some testing off screen. So it does get moved around a little bit that you're not going to see in the video itself. But know that I have tested it and I have reworked it quite a bit to get it to work. And the Sims do go in it and they do come out of it. The one thing I did notice with this subway station that I never noticed with any of the others that I put in, mostly because I had more than enough room in front of the subway station, that I just never caught this when I did the other ones. Even though that the green grid that the subway station has in front of it has plenty of room, I don't have anything blocking the grid. And I think there's even some squares or the grid in front of it that isn't green. I believe there's even a row there. Apparently the Sims still need more room than that. I never realized that because again, all the other subway stations were farther back and never had that problem. But as you can see, I do put it far enough back to where there is a grid that is in front of it that's not green, but the Sims still could not use it. They could go into the subway, but they couldn't use a subway to come to over here. Like they couldn't be at the hospital or in the abandoned area, like at the barn or at the other subway station that I have in town. They couldn't be in that one and come to this one. Like it wouldn't allow them to travel. And apparently they need a little bit more than just one grid line worth of squares in front of the green for it to work, as in for them to come to this subway station. So that took a little bit of testing before I finally figured that part out. I was just trying to, it didn't make any sense to me. Why is it the Sims could use it to travel away, but they weren't able to come back? So that did take a little bit. And I do get that moved. I think I have to end up moving the actual building gets moved over just a little bit because as you can see, I'm right on the edge there of the property line. So it did make it a little bit, you know, more tricky to try to get it to work. I was starting to think that my idea wasn't going to work and I was going to have to rework where I had this building sitting. But I wanted the building to be hidden. I wanted it to be far enough off of the actual main road with plenty of trees in the area to have it hidden, like not I mean, it is after all a criminal hideout. They're not going to want to be somewhere where the rest of the people, the rest of the townies are able to see what they're doing. They want to stay hidden. So I was trying to do what I could to get this as far, you know, away from the road as I could. There's plenty of trees around already in this area to begin with. I had pretty thick of trees to start with. So it is pretty hidden, I think, for the most part. And then I'd even considered using this door here that was like a hidden door, but I wasn't really too sure if I really wanted that, because again, I wanted it to appear like it was hidden. But I decided just to go ahead and go with I like a regular door. This door here I think is the one I end up choosing. That way is a double door, and hopefully the Sims don't have to worry too much about trying to go in and out. Hopefully they're not, you know, they don't get stuck, or you know, they're waiting on other Sims, hopefully anyway, that they're not waiting on other Sims to go in or out. I don't see that really being a problem, because again, a lot of times I was noticing the Sims doing a lot of walking. Sometimes they were even running from one location to the other. So I don't particularly see the subway stations being super busy. And even if they end up not really using them at all, you're quite welcome to go ahead and delete any of them if you would like, if you find them a little bit unnecessary. I just wasn't too sure how the Sims were going to react, or what they were going to do with a world that didn't have any cars. I wasn't too sure. So, and again, I didn't want it to take too long to get from one side of the world to the other. Since I did not choose a small size world, I did choose a medium size. That way we had more lots and more room to build and play in. So here I am just getting the pathway, the dirt path, kind of going in the direction that I want it to go. I do go back into the world editor and create another path to continue from the road to this lot. So in the finished world it will have that. You just won't see that here. Now I'm just going ahead and adding in more trees. And as you can kind of see while I'm moving around the area, you see there are, you know, some benches and some stuff over there by the pond. I did kind of decorate that area a little bit. I did that off camera. I didn't really feel that the pond area really needed a video of its own, so that is decorated and kind of set up to make it look like, you know, you can go there and fish, and maybe there's a little grill that I put there. They can cook their fish and have a picnic. It was just something I thought would be nice right there to kind of make it look a little nicer over there. So, and again, just trying to fill in the trees the best that I can here to, again, make it as much run down, overgrown as I can get it, using all the plants and everything that I've used throughout the world. That way it helps blend it in to the landscaping better. This community lot is fully tested. The Sims are able to go into the building just fine and come back out, so I don't see any issues there. I did put one hitch in the property to tie up the horses. I'm pretty sure the NPCs do not use those hitches, at least not from what I've ever seen. They're more or less in the town for the players to use, to have your Sims use them and tie up your horses. When I went and tied, I used one of the Sims that I have in the world that has a horse. I used him for the testing, and I tied the horse up, and she actually stayed tied to the hitch without any problems. She wasn't breaking free like she was when I had her at that school. I'm not really too sure why, or like why she was breaking free the last time. I'm still going to kind of look around to see if I can find something that will stop the horses from doing that, because I don't feel that they should be able to break their lead and get in, I'm not tied anymore to the hitch. I didn't really like the fact that she did that. So here I am just trying to position one of the lights in place, trying to cover up that light, because the lights on the community lot buildings, these rabbit holes, they don't actually work. They don't actually light up, which I think is really dumb. Why are they there if they're not going to actually work? So I tried to replace it, or make it look like I replaced it with a different light. I think it turned out pretty good. I do like the way this lot turned out. I'm very happy with it, and I hope you enjoyed this speed build, and I hope you're also enjoying this series and like the way this world is turning out. Hope you enjoy these screenshots, and if you have any comments or suggestions or any issues with the world so far, go ahead and leave them down below, and I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye.